Hey guys, welcome to Curl Dislike. These are basically videos of things I dislike, so you might agree with them, might not. With that being said, today's topic is actually what I'm going right through. I'm experiencing it right now, and that is body pain. Right now, my neck is killing me. I cannot look that way. Like if I try to move my head that way, like I'm doing right here, and look and go to that direction, I cannot. My neck hurts so much. And even if I were to just kind of do that too, like to kind of push the muscle, it just hurts. It feels like someone grabbed a hammer and just hit me right hard as hell in the back of my neck right here in this area, and it just hurts. It really hurts. Like I try to pull the muscle, like that hurts to do too, but it just hurts. It's really bad. And that's one thing that really sucks, when you get body pains that just hurt you and you're just like, oh man, this sucks. Like, I don't know what happened here. Why am I feeling this? Like, people will ask me probably for this one, did you sleep on the wrong side of the bed, or do you have a monkey in your neck? And I'm gonna say, I don't know. It just hurts. It really is bad. It's maybe I did sleep in an awkward position that my body didn't recognize while I was sleeping, and that pain just automatically went straight into my neck, and I didn't realize until I woke up or later on during the day. The key word is I don't know. Stuff like this can always happen at any random time, especially if you're a person who suffers from arthritis. I have family members that do suffer from arthritis, and that is no fun joke. I mean, when it rains, that's like the worst time for them, because it's like, well, they're constant pain, and it's like it's either their legs, their backs, their arms. It's something that really does suck. And normally arthritis happens to people who are much older, but yeah, you can be within your 30s and have arthritis, which is not fun. And I will say that from the experiences I've seen from my family members and a couple of buddies of mine that I met and throughout my journey, that I got to see, and it wasn't fun. Sometimes you will limp. You'll keep your legs straight, so that way you don't bend it, because there's just so much pain with arthritis, and it's like, oh my goodness, stop. So it really does suck. I'm gonna say one that I also had as an experience. This is when I was more of a teenager. I have no idea how the hell this happened to me. I talked to my chiropractor about it, and he told me that it's more on your electrolytes and needing water for this. But I remember back in the day, I used to, like right here in the back of my leg. Is that my calf? No, my calf is up here. In the back of my leg. I forget what this section is called. My thighs. The back of my thighs. I used to get, let's just say this is my thigh. This is the back, because this is the front. This is how my leg is, and this is the back. So I used to get this, I used to wake up with this pain that used to make me wake up, and it felt like the biggest cramp in the world, but it was really painful. And all I remember is, if you guys can see my vein right here, this vein would just pop up. And it was like, oh, and I would remember trying to walk it off, but it just hurt so much that it was not even funny. Like I just said, you know what, let's just go back to sleep. Let's go back to sleep. But I will hold my leg like this and then sleep, because that was the only way I was going to get rid of that pain. That really did suck. You would just automatically wake up, and it was just like a horrible cramp. And don't get me wrong, cramps are terrible. When you get a cramp, you're like, and then if you walk with your leg, you're like, So it is fine. But this one, you couldn't walk. This one was just like another level. Like I said, the vein will pop up, and it was like the muscles just slide into a point where it's just like, like your leg, literally your foot would be like this. And if you try to move your feet, like, because your feet are supposed to be like this, no, it would stay like this. And it was like, you try to move it, it wouldn't be able to. And those were terrible. Again, I don't understand how that happened. My chiropractor said if he didn't get to see it, but just judging from what I told him, I'm like, and a vein popped out, and he goes, yeah, that's lack of water and a couple of electrolytes, from the sounds of it. But I remember one time my grandma woke me up, and she pushed the vein in, and I'm like, don't touch me. It was such a horrible experience. But yeah, body pain is no joke, especially if you have like a stomach virus and then you start puking out your bile acids. Oh man, that's terrible, because that burns the insides of yours, and then your throat is also burned up, and you're just throwing your acids, and it's all yellow and everything. It's horrible. I remember one day that happened to me, and I was like trying to stay hydrated, and I just kept puking out that water and on the acid, and I was just like, oh my god, what the heck. I ended up in the hospital. It was just terrible, because I couldn't stop puking. That was it. Like, I couldn't stop puking. And I remember I went to the hospital, and they just had to drug the hell out of me, to the point where they had me high. And I was like in the bed, and they're like, how are you doing? I'm like, I'm high as a kite, because I was gone. Like, but it stopped the fact that I kept puking and puking and puking and puking. And it's terrible, especially when you're just puking acid. It is horrible. And the other one that I have to, another one, two more I'm going to talk about, and one of them is hemorrhoids. Oh my goodness, hemorrhoids is such a dangerous one. I mean, that is the most painful one that I know of. I have not experienced it. I met many people that have experienced it. And if you were to sit down, you can't even sit down. You can't even go to the bathroom and do number 1 or 2, because it is such a painful experience. You're just like on fire, and it's just like cuts are there. That's how it feels. Like your butt's on fire with cuts in them, and then you're trying to do your business, and there's no way. I mean, you can't even sit. That's bad enough. I got to see people working this, and it was just like they will work like a zombie. They were like, oh my goodness, and then they'll do their job, but they were like, oh. It was horrendous to watch, because I could see the pain that they were going through. And normally hemorrhoids happen because your colon mostly gets dried up or exhausted. And that basically happens when you have a lot of too much cheese or too much grease within your system, and that goes through your colon and then just keeps drying off your colon. Broccoli is an example of that. As much as broccoli is good for you, broccoli can also be very dangerous to your colon, which sucks. And lastly, the one I'm going to talk about is kidney stones. Oh my goodness, I have dealt with those. That is the worst experience I have had in my life. I went down, I was out for the count, and I will never forget those paramedics. They were like, all right, come on, the stretcher's outside. And I was literally right next to the door. The door was like right here by my bed, and I was like right here, and I'm like, I can't get up, can you help me? And they were like, come on, let's go. And then they laughed, and I'm like this, but in pain. I couldn't get up. I mean, I went down. I was not able to get up. My grandma's husband was looking at me, and the caretaker to the old lady was also looking at me, and they were like, are you okay? I'm like, no, I don't feel good. And I was like this the whole time, until finally I just fell on my bed, and I was not able to get back up. And the lady, the caretaker, had to grab me and pick me up and put me in the stretcher, because the paramedics didn't put me in the stretcher. And then they wanted me to sign papers, and I'm like this, no. I was in so much pain. Even the light was bothering me. I was wearing my hoodie like this, and I was like, no, leave me alone. It was like, you need to do. I'm like, I signed something, and I go, George. That's my grandma's husband's name. I'm like, George, can you do this paperwork? I'm like, but I don't have your insurance. I'm like, and I took out my wallet, I take it out, and I'm like, here, just do it. I can't. And I was just in pain. I mean, and it's even worse too, because kidney stones are little rocks, or if it's worse, if they're bigger, and they cut through your insides. So you're gonna have to urinate them out, and then before they even get to basically the hole where you urinate it basically cuts everything it goes through, and then you start and you start peeing blood on top of that. So, and then all of a sudden you have cuts in your insides. It is horrendous. It is terrible. It is hard. So I feel bad for anybody who has dealt with kidney stones. I had it once in my life, and after that I was like, goodbye soda. Goodbye soda. All I do is drink cranberry juice and lots of water, because kidney stones are no joke. So with that being said, if you guys have any experience of body pains, let me know in the comments below. Let me hear some of the pains that you probably suffer. I know back pains are terrible too, especially in the lower back. Oh man, those are horrible too. But let me know in the comments below. But with that being said, a special thanks for you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.